Let's pay some homage to the beginning of the autumn winter season with some of these apple hand pies. They're a great balance of sweet and spice and everything nice. So I got some of these honeycrisp apples. This is 2 pounds, but they don't have to be tiny like this. Just any honeycrisp apples should work. Wash them and dry them off to get off all the pesticides. And then we start by peeling them. I peeled all of them like completely and then cut them into pretty small pieces. Normally if this were a big pie you would cut it into larger pieces, but we want them to be small because we're trying to make them into like little hand pies and we're trying to fit as much as possible. So yeah, consolidation. And it all looked like this after chopping it up. Now we're going to make our dry mixture, which is about a 1/3 cup of sugar, and then the rest was just like kind of all the spices. So we used cinnamon, nutmeg, pumpkin pie spice, allspice, and then about a 1.5 tablespoons of flour. Then mix that all together and pour it right over top of your apples. And I did it by hand. You can probably just toss the whole bowl like a salad. It'll incorporate like this. And then for our wet ingredients, I just sprinkled on top some lemon juice, just like this. I don't know how much, honestly. And some vanilla extract. Toss it all together like this. And then I just decided to add some cloves last minute because I just felt like it needed it. To add inside each hand pie, I melted some butter. It was probably like around a tablespoon, and then I salted it because I forgot to put salt in with the apples. Then I preheated my oven to 350. So, if this about right here is thirds, and then we cut that in half again, I feel like that would be more optimal than a quarter, which would be this entire thing. Because that would not be a hand pie, that'd be big. So my method was to cut the pie into sixths, because I thought that quarters were too big. But that mostly wasn't working because I got store-bought. And this dough is not very flexible. Since the dough was store-bought, it wasn't really willing to flex at all, like it wasn't elastic. So I'd recommend making your own if you can, unless you just want to accept the fact that it's going to break. I made them all around like a sixth to a quarter. It was all in that area of size, just however much I could fit into it. I'd fold it over, I'd press down the edges, and like press it with the fork, and that's what I did. You see them all right here. The one closest to the camera on the left, my mom made that one like out of nowhere. I don't know why she did that, but yeah. And then I covered them all in egg wash, which was just a mixture between eggs and half and half. This is how they looked prior to going in the oven. I plopped them into the oven and they were in there for about 40 minutes. And when they came out looking like this. They weren't like too super pretty, but they definitely weren't ugly. Like, these were actually super good. Even though they were really rough to put together, don't mind me just kicking my bed right then. Even though they were really rough to put together, they tasted so good. Like, they were the perfect balance between sweet and like having good spices. The apples themselves weren't like super hard, but they weren't like mushy either. This is really perfect. I'm proud of myself. Try it out.